Alright my crafty friends, today we're unboxing a massive Temu art haul, watercolours, markers, brushes, the whole lot, and I'm giving you my honest 2025 review. I've spent weeks digging through reviews, comparing products and watching other artists test them, so I've pulled together what I think are the best budget-friendly basics to top up your craft room without eating into your real splurge money. Save that for your favourite designers. And while we're talking smart shopping, Temu can be great for your everyday top-ups, but just be mindful, if you ever spot something that looks a little bit too close to an artist's original work, I'll leave a link below so you can report that listing directly to Temu, or you can let the original designer know so they can take action. And can we talk about those silly games on the Temu app? You open it for a watercolour set and all of a sudden you're in a budget casino chasing spinning coupons. Honestly, just skip those. Somewhere in the video I'll also show you a little trick that might even save you money after you place your order. And at the end I'm going to do a paint test comparing these Temu watercolours with my Winsor Newtons so you can see exactly how they hold up. Alright, let's get into it. Start. Okay, so we have got here, this is a ceramic paint palette. So I'm just going to take, when I first opened this up, I'm like, what on earth did I order? I completely forgot. Okay, so it's a beautiful, lovely green colour. So this is the paint, ceramic paint palette. Oh, it's just beautiful. As I'm unwrapping it, it is beautiful and glossy, but it just very nice, very pretty. So the idea of this is that I can use this as a palette, and I've got plenty of room because I have got some ceramic palettes, but you can run out of room really quickly. So I just thought this would be a good idea. And they stack one on top of the other. If you can see, I'm going to have a big pile of plastic packaging at the end of this. Okay, so they stack one on top of the other, and there's the lid. So that's what it looks like. So pretty. The quality is beautiful. The paint finish is absolutely beautiful. I am very, very happy with that. I cannot complain. I'm going to give that, honestly, why would I not give that a 10 out of 10? So that is the ceramic paint palette, multi-tiered artist palette. I paid $20.97, this AUD, Australian dollars, but I'm very, very happy with that one. All right, so the next one is a 3-piece painter's tape. I paid $5.01 AUD. I mean, I've been to Jackson's Art Supplies and trying to find painter's tape, and I couldn't find the small ones, so it's very sticky. But you can see here I've got 3 different sizes, so I believe you can have a 6-pack or a 3-pack. Because I've already got some, I went for the 3-pack, but I think that's going to well and truly suit my needs. And I can also use it for masking stamps as well when I do stamping and I only maybe want a portion of the stamp. So there's that one there. Okay, so the next item that I got was a 4-piece ceramic Chinese calligraphy and paintbrush holder. Now this is sold out. When I went back and reviewed it, the listing is sold out, but you can search and probably find something similar. I'm getting into, which I will show you in a bit, I'm getting into air clay modeling, and I'm going to actually make some of these anyway, so that's an upcoming video. Goodness. All right, I'm going to need scissors. Okay, so that's what they are. You got 4 of them, which I did misunderstand the description. When it said 4, I assumed it meant as in 4, but you actually get 4. So that was $13.76. But that's the idea. When you finish painting and you just want to put your paintbrush down for a bit, you can just put it there without it getting on the desk. So it's a little bit rough on the bottom, but that doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, it's going to do the job. It's got a pretty little design on it. It's very solid. Yeah, I can't fault that. I'd probably give that a 7 out of 10. So this one is this is fun. This is a 5-piece petal dotting tool set, and it's got 10 shapes. So let's get into the box. So I paid $12.83 Australian dollars. I always kind of hold on to these little boxes because I think that they make good size for a small journal. Okay, so that's what they look like, but the idea is that you dip it into paint and then you just make little dots on whatever you're doing. So I thought that that would make a fun, oh, there's different designs. So these are the round ones, show you, and then on the other side they've got it looking like that. That's them there, and then you turn it over and then you get the smaller. I think I'm probably going to have to do maybe some ephemera making, and we'll have a play with some of these. I'll make another video and I'll use some of these Temu items and we'll create some stuff out of it. A quick savings tip: check your past orders, and if there is a price adjustment button, click it and you will automatically receive a refund. You can do this every day for 30 days. Then I got some artist absorbent sponges. I just thought these were handy because I can see things getting dirty and I don't have a lot of used and worn things that I can use, so I just thought it would be handy. I think these would last me quite a long time, but it's basically a sponge that you would lay down. Now I'll probably have to find a dish and you dampen it and then you can wipe your paintbrush on it, but there you go. Large artist absorbent sponge. You get 3 random colours, $3.16 AUD, which makes them about $1 each. All right, so this is a beginner friendly watercolour book. I paid $9.09 AUD, and I want to learn how to watercolour animals. And of course, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I do like a bunny. So I haven't even looked at this. Oh, it's watercolor paper, I can tell. It's not a 300 GSM or anything, but it's obviously designed that you can paint directly into the book. So there's a dog, butterfly, goldfish. Look, I think for a beginner, whale, probably okay. The bird is quite cute. Chicken, yeah, the chicken's cute. The bird is cute. Frog, fun. Duck, deer's cute. That would be nice for maybe a Christmas journal. The cats, turtle. So I think it's a little bit of false advertising, to be honest, because where's my bunny? They put the bunny on the cover, but I didn't even get that bunny to paint, which is what I wanted. So yeah, I mean, look, I'll probably use it just to get a little bit of practice in, but it's not actually what I thought. So that was a bit disappointing, that one. I want to maybe show you these brushes, so let's do one at a time. So this is the premium artist brush set. It's white nylon hair, $6.08. Look, I've got quite a lot of brushes because I've collected them over the years, but I don't have any of these long fine brushes. So I thought I would give them a go because there is a technique I do want to try. And I mean, beautifully presented, and very, very, I'll take these off. So just if you want to do the, like maybe with a little bit of ink and you want to maybe do some outline or some fine stroke, and obviously watercolor as well. Yeah, I mean, look, they're good quality. I mean, I won't know until I paint with them. So at the end of the video, I think I'll do a few little tests. So keep watching for that. And the other brush that I got is this 4-piece squirrel hair. So this is the first actual non-synthetic brush that I've ever bought. But I like the idea of those leaves and petals, etc., and the squiggly lines. So let me get into this. If that's squirrel hair, it kind of, well, it's very soft. It kind of reminds me of my mop brush. Very similar, but I can't complain. The only difference really, I guess, is I find that these brushes, and I think it's obviously the way that they attach the head to the actual handle, but they also, you'll see that they put this plastic around it and then they secure it down with this wire. I think that one of the reasons they do that is, and I didn't know this, when you clean and wash your brush, I just store it like that, and it makes sense because the water then dribbles backwards and then these can become loose, and I've certainly got paintbrushes that has got that. So I think the idea is that, for example, this one here, this is what we did. I just use these brushes and I've just got it on a hook and I just hook it up somewhere until it dries. So I'm now drying my brushes at that angle. So I think, yeah, that would probably potentially become loose after a while. But yeah, I'll have some fun practicing with those. So they're good for leaves, stems, and squiggly lines. Okay, so I did kind of get caught in a little bit of a trap. You know, when you open up your app and then they get you to play these games. And I kind of followed one through just to see what would happen. And I ended up buying the, that's where I bought this one here. And then I also bought this because I was trying to test it and I don't think I understood what I was doing. So look, it's not a bad thing. It's an A4 transparent storage box with dustproof lid, $9.85. So let's unwrap it. I thought this would be handy, you know, for your digital kits that you collect. I mean, it's a storage box. I can't complain. It's well made. I don't think it's going to break anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, I'll use it. That'll definitely come in handy. So this is an earlier order I did. This is a semi-art one-piece portable classic Dreamland set, $9.53. Now remember, these Australian dollars. And I absolutely love it. I mean, it's tiny. Mike and I are planning a big trip in a couple of years' time, and I'm going to want to take, I'm definitely doing journaling. So I do want to take a little sort of travel paint set with me, and I thought this would be ideal. So it opens up, it's got the empty pans, but what's great about it, and I really did look into this properly, they're magnetic. So they're not going to slide around, and I can fill these. Now these are half pan. I can just fit my brush into the half pan really easily as opposed to the quarter pans. So I'm really, really happy with this. Honestly, this is so cute. This is the Dreamland set. So if you're looking for a little mini palette, and then you've obviously got these, it's metal, and you've got all these little palettes on the side. So I am very, very happy with that one. I mean, I would give that 8, 9 out of 10 easily. Okay, so I think you would have already seen my dazzling mixed media papers for junk journals, and if you haven't, I'll put the link up here. You can go and check that out. So I decided that I wanted to get some new Brayers, So I thought I would give these a try. Now a tip is, whenever I look at something in the app, you can search, you've got filters, and you can filter by 4 stars and above. And then I always read the reviews as well. I read the good reviews and I read the bad reviews. So these were highly recommended. They had really good reviews. So I got the larger, you know, the reason I wanted to get the 2 was because these are good for like your little distress ink pad. I want to do some gel printing, which is another reason why I did want to get the extra braids. These feel really, really solid. So $13.82. Okay, so I did get myself a watercolor palette. I've heard good things about this. So this is the professional grade watercolor solid pigments. $39.09. Yes, it was a little bit of an expense, but when you consider, now this one here is Holbein, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, watercolor shell pink. This cost me like $26 for one color. When you consider that you can get 48 colors for $39, it sort of makes sense. Let's open it up and have a little bit of a look. Now they do have the colours on the back and they've got half pans. I couldn't tell whether they were magnetised or not. So it's got a little ring loop there. I'm guessing that's if you want to hold the palette while you're painting. Opens up. They're not magnetised, but I was hoping this would be the case. Yes, it's got this little metal tray and it sort of clips in. Some of them are a bit loose, but that's fine. I can, yeah. It's got like a little snap thing there. See if we can get, yes, there we go. Yeah, so I'm happy with that actually. It's got a little water brush, you know, one of those ones that you fill with the water. It's been a little bit bent, but that's okay. That's fine. There we go. That just sort of seemed to fix it. I'm sure that will fix. Maybe not, but I guess I can always snip that. Let's do that right now, because that's going to annoy me. All right, problem solved. So yeah, you just fill that up with water. There we go. Fill that up with water in the little receptacle there. Okay, I don't think that was meant to happen. I think that's supposed to go in there like that, because that's meant to open and then you fill that with water. Well, then I suppose you can just plop that, you can just press that back in and then re-screw that back on. A little bit fiddly. I mean, it could be me not knowing, but I have got these pens and they're not that hard. So yeah, I probably wouldn't even bother with this, but I have got other ones and I've got a whole pack of unopened ones. The colours are on the back. I thought that you did get a card and I was hoping I could just maybe put it underneath, but the paints are not labelled in any way. So I think I'm going to have to swatch these and find a way to maybe even use the numbers and write on the side of the pans. But we will do a swatch and we'll compare. Perhaps I'll try and find colours that I've got similar to this, and then we'll swatch and we'll compare. As far as the paint palette is concerned, yeah, I'm not unhappy, and it's a good size, and that's an interesting, I can assume, while it's got that little ring on the back there. I also got this metallic starry coloured glittering watercolour. I have actually had a little test of these and they are absolutely beautiful. Very, very pretty colours. You got silver. Okay, so I got a 50 pack of artist postcard watercolour paper, 300 GSM, $10.16. I thought that was pretty good value, and it was just a nice small area that I could paint on while I'm getting used to it all. Nice and sturdy, and the benefit is that I can also then have the postcard on the back and I can use it in journal. So I thought that that was a good buy. So I got this white marker pen. There's 3 different sizes. It's a 6-piece, and I'm pretty sure it's 3 different sizes. Oh, it's 6-piece mix, and that was $6.68. So I thought we would just have a look and see. Okay, so it's already come off on my hand, so that's probably a good sign. That's like a texture pen, that's a finer one, and that's a even finer. And then you got 1, 2, and then you've got another one of these. So let me see if I've got something we can test this on. So I get my Stabilo crayon. Oh, it actually does. It does cover over the Stabilo. I mean, it does the same as what any other pen will do. Eventually it stops working. But I just kind of rub that, I just sort of wipe that on the side. But yeah, that does, I think that honestly compared to any other pen, and then you just sort of scribble it on the side and you get it working again. Oh, these ones work really well. So I think it depends on what you're doing, but they work over the Stabilo crayon. So if I get one of my other white pens, this is a Uniball white Mitsubishi pencil, and see that it doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. So I'm really happy with that. That was my big thing that I discovered when I was using the Stabilo crayon, which I do really enjoy using. They make really nice backgrounds. You can wet these down and it becomes almost like watercolor. And then just to kind of go over the top, that's what I wanted to try and find, was a nice white. And look, I'm even painting, I mean I'm painting over it now, and it's, but when that dries I can redo that again and that will come up nice and white. So yeah, I'm really happy with these. So yeah, if you're looking for a white marker pen, I looks like, I mean I don't know how long they'll last, but it looks like I will be enjoying using these. Okay, so this is a 6-piece coloured soft art brush. I got these because I do want to see if I can do some stenciling with watercolour, and I watched a video where they said if you used these type of brushes it works quite well. So I wanted to have a place. I paid $7.03, and I have got some already, but I didn't want to, because I use those for my distress ink, so I did not want to like ruin them. And this is a cleaner. Okay, so that's the cleaner, so you can scrub that when you're finished. So I have got some brushes here that I use. You can see I use these for my, and there's no way I'm going to be dipping that into watercolor paint. So that's why I did want to get a set exclusively for that. I mean, it's very synthetic, but I think that's what I want anyway. I want something that absorbs the watercolor and then I can use it for stenciling. So I am looking forward to actually trying that one out. Okay, so then I got this Potentate 100% cotton watercolor handbook, 300 GSM. So let's open it up. It's a bit smaller than I thought it would be, but then they did give the measurements, so I was just trying to estimate in my mind how that would look. But as I said, I've heard pretty good reviews about the watercolor papers on Temu. So let's have a look. Well, it's very thick, so can't ask for much more than that. And I think if I want to sort of practice and do, you know, like little landscapes, or, you know, practice doing some flowers or whatever, I've got some good amounts of watercolor paper I can use. And for $11 for each one, that's really good value. Okay, so this is the Baohong watercolor paper pad. This is the Academy one. It's 100% cotton, acid free. I'm pretty sure this is the cold press. Yes, it's cold press. This is the cold press one. Okay, so let me open this. But I've heard really good reviews about this. Apparently this is like very, very well, very highly rated as a professional grade. So in particular, it's the Academy watercolor one. Okay, so this is the one that it's like a pad, and to open it you need to, yeah, if you have a look here, it's sealed except for this little bit here, and so you would just get, like, you would get a craft knife and you would just sort of slit it in there, and then you would just, as the diagram there shows, you would slit your little knife in, and then you would work your way around and you would peel the paper up. So I guess the purpose of that is that you can paint and it's not going to wreck all your papers underneath. So I'm looking forward to actually getting to the point where I'm happily going to watercolor to a size like this. But yeah, I wanted to get that one. But you know, the more professional one, they're like $40, $50, and you know, I paid $28 for this. I got 20 sheets, so I had to give it a go. Okay, so just moving more into other areas now. I got this 8-piece pottery clay tool set because, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I am getting into the air clay modeling, and I am going to do a couple of videos on that. So I just wanted to get some tools, and I went into Bunnings and they had a tool like this, very similar, for $12. So this was $5.80, and let's have a look what you get. So you get a scraper. This is what I'm looking forward to using, this one here. I need this, but I've watched lots of videos and all of them are going to come in handy, I can see. And that's like a bit of a, if you undo it, it's the wire, and it can scrape the clay off the base. And then that's another tool as well, and that's like a cutter or a scraper. So yes, needed that. And then I also wanted to get a roller. So this one was $4.57 because I do need to be able to roll my clay out. So I thought I didn't want to use my kitchen roller, that's all I had. So I got that one, and I couldn't work out what these were for, but what you do is you put them on the edge, and it looks like it's going to be a bit difficult to do. All right, so I got it on. This would be the 5mm thickness. So if I want to roll out my clay and I want it to be 5mm thickness, then that's a good idea. I thought that ring idea was a good, and then of course this one's a 3mm. So I can now get on with my projects for that. Okay, so I got myself a resin lamp because I have got the resin liquid. I've got some embellishments that I can actually do everything, and I thought I'll just do them in the sun because we, you know, get quite hot weather here in Perth. But I thought, no, let me, for $14.13, I got this little resin lamp. So let's see if I can hook it up. It does have a cord. So it's one that has got one of these USB cords. Okay, so I'll stick that in. Okay, so I've got it plugged in. There you go. So it has got 60 seconds, 90 seconds and 150 seconds. So I'm looking forward to finally being able to make, oh I see, every time I press it moves to the timer and then it eventually turns off. So I'm looking forward to trying that out and making some embellishments finally out of those little charms that I bought. I got some velvet ribbon because I thought while I'm there I was just trying to decide if there was anything else I needed. I've always wanted to get some velvet ribbon, so I got two colours. I got this nice sage green and then I got this light beige. Okay, so it's got some sticky tape that you need to take off it, so I have done that. There's velvet on both sides, so wow, that's actually really nice. You could even use that as a tag topper. That would be really pretty, but yeah, really lovely. It definitely feels like velvet. I'm very happy with that. So that was the green, and I think it was a sage green, or I'm calling it a sage green anyway, and then the light beige. Okay, so I did get some of this Australian Aboriginal art and nature inspired dot painting because I am doing an Australian journal, and when I saw this I thought this looked absolutely beautiful. So this is $10.70. I think you get 24 sheets. Yep, you get 24 sheets. So let's open it and have a look. Paper's quite thin. It's not like scrapbooking paper. It's probably thicker than, it's like paper, it's like copy paper thickness. But that doesn't really matter. But I'll just do a flick through. I think that might be the right. So we've got that one there. Absolutely beautiful colours here. Lovely. Oh, I like that one. That one's very nice. Very, very nice. These are gorgeous. You could almost do something like this with watercolour. I mean, that just looks absolutely gorgeous. Oh, I like that. It's almost boho. Maybe it's the colours. I think it's inspired. Yeah, it does say nature inspired. Oh, this is lovely. I think I'm just attracted to anything mark making at the moment, and circles definitely seems to be, circles and leaves seems to be my favourite. I'm not sure which is the right way. Yeah, I think these will make some nice, lovely features. I think that might go like that. This will make some nice, you know, just background features in my journal, just scattered throughout. Might use some, see, I can imagine even having that on the edge of a page or the edge of a pocket, like a pocket page or a belly band. Very rich, you know, deep Australian colours here. I just don't even know what is the right way. That is lovely. Absolutely gorgeous. Very happy with all of these. There's not one in here that I've gone, I have liked every single one of them. May even be duplicates, I'm not really sure. Yeah, so very happy with those. $10.70. Okay, so I did also get a number of dies. I wanted to just stock up a little bit more on some leaf dies because they're always handy to cut out and use throughout your journals. And then I've got a flower die and a dragonfly die. Now, the names were not great, so what I did was I just numbered them 1, leaf die 2, leaf die 3, leaf die 4. So in the description, if you're interested in, you know, purchasing one of these, you can identify it by that. So what I've done is I've actually spent some time and I've cut out. So I'll just move these to the side. We'll look at this one here. This one is a leaf die metal cutting die, leaf decoration metal cutting die B-1052. That was the only kind of identification I could find on it. So $3.83 Australian dollars. Okay, so what I've done is you can see I've already die cut out from some black cardstock. But I left it in just so that we could see how easy it was to release. I've got a feeling this one's going to be okay. It cut fine. Now I've got a Big Shot Plus and I always generally will pass twice. Very rare I have a problem, but I normally buy, Tim Holtz dies or Sizzix dies or whatever. So I do have some other cheaper dies. All right, so I'm just going to get my little pokey tool. Oh, let's just take these out first. We'll see if this comes out easily. Okay, so you get these little holes here. This is how I do it. Don't know if there's an easier way. But I did see that it started to come off. It's coming off pretty easy. I just don't want to tear it because it's quite delicate. So I think it's going to be fine. It's just, you just can't be heavy-handed with it. It's certainly not one of the dies that pops out. Like some dies just sort of, it falls out. But it is coming out. Yeah, I don't want to force it because I think I'll tear it. I think I have too much process, and I've been feeling kind of hopeless. There we go. Just with a little bit of pressure, it does seem to pop up. I know it's been a while since I held you in my arms. All right, so I'll just finish taking out these. So everything's cut fine. Move these off to the side. Okay, so that's the die, and that's the result that you get. Yep, very, very happy with that. Can't complain. They cleaned up really, really good. So happy with that. Okay, so leaf die 2. Now, in all fairness, I think that could possibly be tricky. And only because I've used some very thin paper to make the cut. So this might be a bit unfair on the die. So let's get it out and let's have a look. Okay, so that's the design and you can see all the paper still left in there. So I'll just start poking. I did a video on mixed media papers using paints, etc., and a whole bunch of scraps, and this is probably one of the thinnest papers that I used, but it was a nice sort of greenish color and that's why I chose it. Does seem to be coming up. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's kind of, because of the pressure of the plate, it's kind of really stuck in the die, but it does seem to be coming up. I think if I work this and very carefully pull it up, I think it'll be fine. As I say, this is not the normal sort of paper that you would use, but I did want to see what effect I got. There you go. Beautiful. All right, I'll just take the other ones out. I think they're going to come out quite easily. And it's all released perfectly. So I'll just put them on here. That would be a nice background actually for you to see the result. So very happy with that one. Okay, so this is leaf die number 3. And again, I used some of my mixed media papers. This one I pulled apart because of the way I wanted it to fit on the paper. I used this and I just cut the little metal bar that connected everything together. Okay, so this feels like this is going to come out fairly easily as well. Yep, it just seems to be lifting off. Of course, being extremely careful with that stem bit because that could tear, so we might come up this angle. I'm not really sure what this little palette, like this little spade or end is. I don't know if you're supposed to use that to help you. I sort of feel that would tear the paper, so I'm not really sure. If anyone knows what that bit is for, I would be greatly appreciated if you could let us know in the comments. Yeah, I probably don't recommend using thin paper, but we got there. There's that one there. And there we go, that's that one there. So I'm very happy with that one as well. Okay, so leaf die number 4 are 3 little ones. These ones I did leave connected together, so that's what I was talking about before. If you want to remove these, you can just get your little tin, your little snips, and you can remove them carefully. This one hopefully will be a little bit easier because this was now this one's got lots of little holes in it, so I think what you do is you hold this against the foam and you just use your brush and that gets everything out. Okay, so I'm just going to now use my pokey tool for the rest. These are very small, so they are a little more delicate. Oh wow. Oh, again, actually, I used Amazon packaging paper. That's right. So that's why these will be a little trickier to remove, because again, very, very thin paper. But if we can successfully get them out, they will look really good. So we made it work. As I say, that was the brown paper, Amazon packaging, very, very thin, delicate paper. Probably wouldn't recommend using that, but the die itself I think is really lovely. If that was a thicker cardstock, that would have worked no problem. Okay, so this one is Piggy Craft metal die. This is the floral die that I got, $2.20. That's Australian dollars. So that's what the die looks like. So let's see what happens when I'm actually pretty excited to see this one, because I die cut over a very faint stencil that I had done. So, and it had a little bit of pink colorings in it, so I'm curious to see. Now that's slipping out very easily, and there you go, that's the die there, very pretty. All right, and then we've got our dragonflies. These were $2.25. Now one of them fell out very easily, so I'll just have to go and just poke out the little bits in the wing. Okay, so that is actually a Daphne Diary magazine page, so you can get the idea of how thin that paper is there. But actually what I might do is just get this brush and see if that helps release those lacy bits on the wings. And that one just fell right out. There you go. That's how easy they're releasing. And the die has come up really clean. Just pull these last little bits out. Very pretty little dies actually. You know, they just add a nice little accent to your journals, and just a good cheap way of just adding to your collection. I'm also having a look at the 50 random dies that you can get. I thought I might just keep an eye on it, and maybe if it drops down in price, I might order that one and see what sort of dies I get. But yeah, they're the dies that I got, and I'm very happy with all of them. If I cut that off, don't you think that looks like a fairy? Okay, and the final lot, I did get myself some stamps, so I spent some time stamping them, so I I can give you my impressions. So we'll move these ones aside and we'll start with this one here. I got this one because I thought this might make some nice marks on, you know, my mixed media papers. This is called Mixed Shapes Stamp Finger Inspire, and that's $5.44 Australian dollars. So that's what the stamp set looks like. And some of the stamps were a bit hit and miss, but some worked okay. So that's I like that one. That's kind of like a doodle roses, which would be nice to make a nice border or a line or just a nice accent. So again, these are just a bunch of papers that I did in my previous video. I really liked this one. I think it might be this spiral one here. That one worked out really well. This one, not so good. I just could not get it to stamp. But then what I did do was I used these two little stamps here in the middle, and they stamped really well. So they were definitely a good one. This one here was this one in the corner here, and I quite like that. I think in certain circumstances that would look quite good. Now I did use my stamping platform, and I think that might have been a bit of a problem, and then I started hand stamping with my acrylic block, and I was getting better imprints. This one's really cute. That's that one there. I do like that one. I had to place the stamp in the stamping platform to line it up. The outside stamped, but the heart didn't. So then I had to take that out, and then I had to re-stamp the heart. But you could, if you're manually stamping on a block, you could still do the same. This one, I don't really know what I think of. It's kind of just a bunch of squiggly lines. I think under the right circumstances, that could look good. And then if you got some maybe gold mica or something like that and squiggled in there as well, and had some watercolor underneath, I think that could look quite good. This is another spiral which I liked. I think that's this bigger spiral here. And this one here, it looks to me like it was a ball of thread or wool or something. And again, I did find that hard to get an imprint, but that I did use that on the stamping platform. I think if I had tried to hand stamp that on an acrylic block, I think that would have worked out better. I found them a little bit of hard work. I would not recommend these in the stamping platform. I think the acrylic block is the way to go, but not a total fail. I did get some good ones out of that one. Okay, so this was another one. I was trying to get a page in the same shape as the stamp. So this is the clear silicone scrapbooking stamp, background scripts, numeric symbols, $4.02. I gave up on the stamping platform. It did not work. Some stamped better than others. There's probably about half in there that worked really well, and the other half probably, like my favorites are that one, the grid, that the spiral, the splatter, the drop. Basically the ones that you see are double, where it's sort of a bit double, was where I tried to go back in and hand print, and because it was dark and late at night, I didn't exactly line it up. Again, probably about half the stamps worked okay. All right, so I got these bird seal stamps, $4.02, and they're very pretty little birds. I'll take them out of the wrap. So that's what they look like, very pretty. And I did find it, again, hard, but it could be, I don't know. I had to put it on an acrylic block in the end, really ink it up, stamp it, and then I used like a pressure plug thing that I've got. And I think what I'll do is I'll watercolor over these, and then I'll just fussy cut them out. But I'll definitely use the stamp, and I was on my dining room table. That could be a difference. I think if I had have done it on this surface, it might have been a little bit easier, but they're definitely very pretty little birds. Okay, so as I was cleaning up, I did find a die that fell on the floor. This one was a one-piece metal flower leaf cutting die, and I cut it out quickly, and that was so easy. It fell out, no problem at all, and absolutely beautiful. So happy with that one. So that brings me to the final haul. So I'm just going to clean up and sort everything out, and then I'll come back and we'll do a quick painting demonstration, and we'll see how the paints compare. Okay, so I'm just going to do a paint test of this 6 car Starry colour. So these are the colours here. And I'll just get my spray them just to activate them, and I'm going to use a small brush here, and let's see how these swatch. This one feels like it's getting all nice and creamy and buttery. All the gold's nice. I guess that would be like a sort of like a vintage gold or an old gold. They have different names, but this one's a bit more of like a yellow gold, and that one's nice. Oh, that's a lovely colour. And this is sort of like another gold. I guess this one here would be like a copper colour. This probably, I don't know, maybe a brass colour. Well, that's nice. So I might give these top two another go. Maybe I didn't spray enough. Let's try that again. And these are very pale sort of colours, but compared to my other ones that I did in my watercolour video, let me see if I can get the swatch out for that. They're not as vibrant, but they still are nice and metallic. The ones on the right are, I'm not sure the brand, I did buy them off eBay, but they're at worst, they're a student grade, but you know, they are a proper watercolour. And these are the ones that off Temu, the ones on the left, but you know, it's still a nice metallic. Okay, so I have mixed up some paints in these little palettes here. The ones on the left are the Temu ones, and then the ones on the right are from this palette here. And I'm going to attempt to do some some feathers side by side. Haven't done these for years, and I just did some the other day. This is the Temu one, and then I'll just do a comparison. I've matched the colour as best I can. Okay, these are very lovely sort of boho feathers. When I mixed up the paints, they were very lovely and creamy, I will say. They did mix very nicely. And we'll just make a sort of a feather shape here. But I'm not really seeing any problem with the Temu ones. They mixed nicely and they're painting very nicely, and as far as I'm concerned the pigment is very, very similar. We'll see what, whoops, I keep going into the wrong one. I'll just, alright, I might just do the blues a bit more. I mean, look, I've tried to match the colour as best I can. There we go. I mean, they both paint beautifully. I'll let that dry and I'll come back and I'll show you the result. Okay, so I have just finished outlining these two little boho feathers in gold, and I've got to say I'm really impressed with these paints. The Temu one is obviously the one on the left. For the price, these paints behave beautifully, and I feel like you can see exactly what they're capable of. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and going through my Temu haul. I hope this gave you a clear idea of the quality and whether any of these bits might be a good fit for your own crafting. I'm honestly really happy with what I picked up. Thanks for joining me, and as always, have a jolly good time creating, and I'll see you in the next video.